The sky was pale and the clouds were heavy and white, and they moved so slowly, changed shape so slowly, that one was quite hypnotized, watching the castles become elephants, and the elephants swans, and the swans teachers. On this day, Oliver and I unobtrusively slipped away from our game-playing classmates. We walked quickly to the edge of the lawn where a wooded cliff dropped nearly vertical to the river below. Here, hidden from the others by a row of evergreens, the river beneath us, we sat comfortably on the ground, and I began to make up a story while Oliver listened eagerly, flatteringly. It was he who noticed the robin first. "Look," he said, interrupting me, pointing at something in the grass. I looked and saw the bird. One of its wings had been broken, and it fluttered feebly, still trying to fly. We went over and examined it carefully, but both wary of touching it for fear of an unexpected sting, or bite, or sinister germs. "What'll we do?" I asked. One always had to do something about everything that came one's way. Oliver shook his head. He was no use. "It's hurt bad." We watched the robin as it fluttered in a small circle on the ground. It made a small piping sound. Maybe we ought to take it home, but Oliver shook his head. "It's hurt too bad. It's not going to live long. And anyway, we wouldn't know what to do." "Maybe we should get some witch hazel or something," I suggested. But since this meant approaching the authorities of the school, we decided against doctoring. I have forgotten whose idea it was first. I hope it was Oliver's. We decided the robin must be put out of its misery. It must be killed. The decision was made easily enough, but when it came to the actual execution, we were not only uninventive, but frightened. Thinking of a picture I had seen of St. Stephen, I suggested the robin be killed with a stone. Oliver took the first stone, I'm almost certain it was Oliver, and dropped it directly on top of the creature. But the stone fell on one side, and the bird, still alive, fluttered its wings and gasped. Then I took a stone and dropped it, and now, horribly, there was blood on the wings that fluttered in the bright air, that fanned the dead leaves on the ground. Then we grew frightened and angry, and we took more stones and threw them as hard as we could at the robin. Anything to stop the motion of those wings and the sound of pain. The stones fell on one another until the bird was covered except for his head, and still it was not dead. It would not die. Oliver, I'm sure now it was Oliver, finally took a very large stone and smashed it as hard as he could on top of the pyramid, finishing the tomb. Then we listened carefully. There were no more sounds from within. We stood for a long time, not looking at one another, the pile of stones between us. No sound but the distant shouts of our classmates playing on the lawn. The sun shone brilliantly. Nothing had changed in the world, but suddenly, without a word, and at the same moment, we both began to cry. The end. That's a sad story, huh?